Hi, and welcome to Intro to Web 3223. My name is Justin Briggs, and I'm going to be your instructor for this course here at Alfred State. What we're going to go over today is the syllabus and the expectations for the course, and going over what these videos are intended to do. And we'll cover that right now. What these videos are intended to do is give you an opportunity to refresh what we went over in class, but do it in a format that's just a little bit more precise as you're trying to figure out problems and seeing where you went wrong. Uh, the other thing that this allows you to do is see the things that you missed as the semester goes on, because things come up and sometimes you cannot be in class. So ultimately, this just comes down to having another resource at your disposal so you can address your academic curriculum in the way that you see fit for whatever condition that you find yourself in. All right. So what we're going to go over first is the course layout. Now, naturally, there's quite a bit here. So there's a lot to go over in a semester, but these topics and these fundamentals are quite important. So we're going to go over HTML first. Going to go over what the DOM is, tags and attributes. So this is going to be your foundation. This is considered the structure of the web. And we'll go over that a little bit more after we get through the design portion, the design fundamentals, so we actually start doing something. But the HTML is relatively easy to pick up. However, it is important because everything is based on it. CSS. So we're going to be going over box model, which modern CSS is based on this, right? And then based on that box model is called Flexbox and CSS Grid, which are both layout paradigms. And then we're going to be going over a little bit of CSS libraries and a little bit of how CSS actually works under the hood. Mostly just the things that you need to troubleshoot with, not necessarily exactly technically how it works. So that's something to keep in mind. JavaScript, basically, this is the course right here. This is the portion that you're actually here for. So we're going to be going over the differences between C# and JavaScript. Now, if you are on YouTube and you're not an Alfred State student, we have designed this curriculum to obviously be beneficial for our students, and they are coming in with a set of skills that we're expecting them to have. So if you are taking this course online, you're welcome to stay. But if you haven't taken a programming one or an intro to programming, just hit up something on YouTube. There's a bunch at this point, and you'll be good to go if you want to take this one. Okay, so back to our students here at Alfred State. We're going to be going over event propagation, object management, scope, DOM manipulation, which is an important one, sending and receiving data, which is another important one, error checking. All right, and then these last two, web components and web workers. This is more of a extra credit. I'm going to expose you to these concepts type idea. I do not think we're going to have enough time to thoroughly go over this and understand it, but it is helpful to know, especially for the people that have only been exposed to one little corner of web development and think that they got it. So this is helpful for the people that want to explore what the web has to offer, and this is a fundamentally different way of approaching that problem. So design fundamentals, visual hierarchy, contrast, proportions, personas and user stories, red routes and white space. This little portion here as well with the homework is going to help you understand and evaluate websites, and primarily what students struggle with in this section is identifying features. So a lot of people in the industry would call this empathy. Ultimately, it's a theory of mind problem. So if you can understand where the user is coming from, if you can understand what they're trying to accomplish, what their goals are, then you're going to have a pretty good idea of what features they need. These other design fundamental things are just kind of expectations at this point. You do need to know them, but ultimately, if you want to be good at design, you need to be able to identify features. All right? You need to be able to solve people's problems. And then basic web concepts. All right, so we're going to be going over this towards the end of the course. So we're going to be going over the differences between server rendering, client rendering, server languages, server frameworks, web builders, and e-commerce frameworks. All right, so there's a bunch of tools out there at this point, and there is quite a bit of a conversation between the developers going, okay, have we gone too far? Because all of these things are very complicated to use. Some of them really help, and then the ones that are relatively easy to pick up are limited in what they can do. So have we gone too far, or is this just another tool? We don't know. We'll have that conversation towards the end of the course after we've picked up the skills that we're looking for. All right. So grades overview. There are 4 site critiques and 2 projects. So there's 6 projects or 6 assignments overall. You're going to have plenty of time to do all of them. Site critiques are largely there to help you develop an eye for features and an eye for correcting design, because more than likely you're going to end up picking a site that is awful and then you're going to end up fixing it. Well, part of that problem or part of the solution needs to be, yes, design in the interface, but also the ability to identify features. Okay. Projects. So projects is taking the thing that you have been thinking about for a while and then actually physically making it better, right, through code. So these take a little bit. If you haven't showed up to the class and you haven't been participating in the exercises, these projects will be difficult. Now, you have plenty of time to do it, but it is very tempting for students to not show up to class because there are no attendance grades, and that a lot of the course curriculum is based on follow along. Hey, here's what we're trying to do. This is what we're trying to accomplish. It's very tempting for students to not show up. And when they do that, these projects become very difficult, if impossible, because they just don't understand the concepts. And this is where I'll go on to my little rant here and say, if you try to make web development a process, you're not going to make it. You're just not. Everything is conceptual driven because there is no one answer. There is no one solution. And if there is one solution, that means that problem has been solved so thoroughly that we don't have to think about it anymore. The reason why you get paid as a web developer is to make something or solve a problem. Those are the 2 things. All right. And if you're making something that already exists so well defined that you're just doing someone else's procedure, you're not really a web developer at that point. You're just a code monkey. All right. Late work will not be accepted. All right. All work is due on Friday, unless stated otherwise. I will tell you what those dates are when I actually get that up and running and see where all of our time off and vacation times is going to actually happen, because we don't know yet. But once we know, I will let you know when these things are due. But late work will not be accepted unless there is a very good reason. Refer to the syllabus for what I would consider those very good reasons are. Okay. Grades, in terms of how grades typically end up in these courses. So generally speaking, it's very bimodal in terms of grading. We have a bunch of people that are in the 40 and 50 range. We have a bunch of people that get it. And then that requires us to implement a curve. And we're going to implement a curve to get to an average of a 75. This does 2 things. 1, there's no grade inflation. 2, it gives students an opportunity that would have done poorly otherwise, an opportunity to continue and readdress some of these problems. There is a theory out there amongst academics that maybe what do grades represent, right? And one of the arguments is that, well, it doesn't really represent skill acquired. It just represents a snapshot of skill at the time. And if you only allow for a very quick snapshot of what they know at the moment, it doesn't give students an opportunity to improve. So one of the things that I have done with this curriculum is give you an opportunity to improve. That's why we have similar assignments, right? So as you get better, your grade should go up. But uh, that curve is going to be determined on how well you guys do. So if all of you do well, then there will be no curve, but that hasn't happened yet. Okay, software overview. I'm going to be using Firefox. Most people use Chrome or Chromium. That's fine. It's just going to look a little bit different. IDE or text editor, I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio is different than Visual Studio Code for the students that are taking this course. Okay, and then we're going to be using, well, at least I will be using Figma for rapid prototyping software. You can use anything else. The other popular option is Adobe XD. Okay, in class exercises, the exercises that are immediately after a new topic are intended to be hyper simplistic. This is to isolate the concepts that we just covered in a way that eliminates confounding variables. Okay, so yeah, is not representative of how you actually implement the thing, but it does give you an opportunity to practice the concepts that we just went over. The site recreation is where we go over and take a website that students think is really, really hard, and I build it and show them how to actually do it and show them how to think about these problems. And when problems come up that doesn't do exactly what I was hoping it to do, I'll show you how to troubleshoot your way through solving that problem. Okay, so the site recreation is helpful for students to actually troubleshoot, because that's a problem point for a lot of people. It also shows that it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this thing for, you're never going to memorize the thing. It's you cannot simplify this down to a process. There's too many variables. You have to be able to troubleshoot. Right? And you can ask any developer. Most of their time is just troubleshooting. Okay, some of the basics you'll pick up and get, and you can one-shot those, but for the most part, not really. Okay, in class, we address ideas and not people. So if you find yourself going, this person is stupid, there we got a problem. Okay, if this continuously happens, where it harms the learning environment, you can be removed from the course. All right. Discord. Discord is going to be the primary communication technology that I'm going to use. This allows for a lot of flexibility in terms of addressing me and the class, and in general, this allows for the class to actually communicate with each other. Anything that's done by email tends to be overly official. So if the dean wants to push something out to all the classes, it's going to be an email type thing. The other thing that Discord allows is if I'm up, I'll answer on Discord. Email is a lot harder to manage. It's a lot harder for me to just quickly go do this thing and then come back. It just doesn't work as well. Discord also has video chat. So if you're 7 o'clock at night and I'm up and I'm available, then I'll answer, or at least I'll take your call, and then we will see how far you got. And then if you're truly at a point where you just don't understand the topic and there's just a couple things that you need to be highlighted and redirected on, then you should be fine. More than happy to answer those. The ones I don't like are the ones that hey, this thing is due Friday night. I just started 10 minutes ago. I have no idea what this is. Please help me. And the answer is going to be from me is, well, here's some learning material. Tutoring. So there's two options for tutoring. Tuesday from 5 to 7, you can ask me directly through video chat, or you can come to Programming Club, which a lot of people in Programming Club treat this as tutoring. And then you can also go through Casey Coburn, which is at the Student Success Center. And then you have to fill out this PDF to get a tutor. So they have the same comments that I do regarding tutoring. It is not a replacement for your class. They are not going to do your homework for you. You have to make an attempt to understand the assignment and the topic before they will help you. Academic dishonesty. Okay. So we have a zero tolerance policy. If we find that you have turned in something that is academically dishonest, that assignment will receive a 0. Okay. This will also be turned in to the academic integrity committee. Well, actually, it's going to go through the chair first. You'll have a sit down with the chair, but then he will send it to the academic dishonesty or the academic integrity committee. Okay. Now, this is where people get confused. I recommend working together. I do. However, you cannot turn in the same work. Right? It seems self-explanatory, but we've had a problem in the past. So this is what I would consider academic dishonesty. This is our in-class example. Okay, take a quick look at it. And this is what someone turned in. This is academic dishonesty. Okay? And it's academic dishonesty of the highest form. It's academic dishonest or plagiarism of my work. Right? This doesn't help anyone. You need to be able to understand these concepts. You can't just copy and paste. All right? Does you no good. Website critiques. Website critiques are designed to hone your ability to think critically. This is both in design and feature set. So when you see a website, we're going to use a common example here at little town of Alfred. If you go to Collegiate and you don't have an ad blocker on, your entire screen is filled with an ad. Okay, well, once you get past that problem, the next problem is okay, well, there's a menu there. Where are the times? Is there a phone number? Oh yeah, there is. It's just hidden off to the corner. Okay, so this is where you take your ability to think critically. Okay, well, if this is the case, right? If we are just trying to order food, or we're just trying to find the phone number or the times for the restaurant, how are we going to present that information in such a way where it's easy to use? Okay. Very simple example. We have a Chinese shop here in town as well. Something very similar where they just photocopied the menu and threw it online, which works sort of, but if you need to know what hours they're open with, you don't know. But yeah, I guess you'll figure it out eventually when you walk all the way into town and it's not open. Okay. Use cases need to be well thought out and understood. Okay, so you need to be able to present what you're trying to accomplish here in a way that is articulated well. All right, this is part of the critique. You need to be able to write and you need to be able to articulate. Okay, so that leads me into the writing portion and then the design portion, which is the mock-up, which should be done in a rapid prototyping software like a Figma or an Adobe XD. Projects. Okay, projects are website critiques except for you're doing it. Okay, so instead of talking about it and articulating what you would do, you're going to actually do it. Now, you're going to be picking a different topic most of the time, but yeah, this is you doing it. Do not wait to start on these. You're going to get plenty of time. At a minimum, 3 weeks, probably 4. Don't wait on these. You're not going to be able to do this in 2 days. Okay, so what to expect? This is a project that has been turned in the past, right? Hey, here's a little API. Threw it into a library to graph with. Here's a bunch of information. This is good. Out and out good. Okay? And there's that little code to produce that. Right? So we'll go over how to do a good chunk of this. Actually, all of it. We'll definitely cover all of this, except for the graphing library. But other than that, we'll go over this. So this is what to expect, that type of quality of work. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for the intro and the expectations for the course. Key takeaways is don't procrastinate. If you find yourself procrastinating and doing things last minute, this course is going to be very difficult. If you find yourself engaging in the class and that you progress uh, reasonably linearly with the time that has been given to you, this course will be easy. Right? A lot of these topics are very difficult to pick up in a couple hours. So don't procrastinate. Do what you have to do. Ask the questions that you need to. Ask help if you need to from other people or people that have taken the course already. Uh, you'll be all right. Okay. You just can't treat it like the courses that you've seen up to this point, which has just been patty cake essentially. So, yeah. All right. So that's going to do it for this one. And I will see you in the next presentation. Later.